Second.
Chris, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We'll go to Daryl for his report of the convention.
I'm not used to being at the top. As some of you are new faces, so I decided to tell you a little bit what the job of the committee man is. As executive committee man representing Hardin County Township Association at the state level, I participate in electing board members to the Township Association when their terms expire. On Wednesday, January 29th, I attend the executive committee meeting at the annual Ohio Township Association convention. The OTA also meets in June for legislative updates, with the attendees being the Township Association Executive Committee along with one member of the office, of the township office. So the reason I'm telling you that is one of their concerns is that they're not seeing new faces. They're getting tired of seeing my ugly mug. So some of you folks is gonna need to step up to these guys' position, my position. We tried to pass it around and we were pretty good at it for a while, and COVID interrupted us and we haven't gotten back in the swing of passing the jobs around. So we need to get better at that. OTA's main concern is having a strong local township association. Our purpose as a local association is to protect township government and to address local concerns. If you have any suggestions for informative programs, please contact one of the local association leaders. The OTA diligently upholds a strong legislative presence at the State House, and I encourage you to go to the township website. The OTA has and sign up for their legislative alerts. You'll get monthly, weekly alerts, what the legislators are doing, what things are in committee. If you want, you can even go down and present your case to the legislators and give testimony. They'd be tickled to have you do that. Through the OTA website, you can register your township to make purchases through Amazon by clicking on the Ohio Township Association Service Corp, which will lead you to a QR code for your registration. And there's some of these over there on the table. If one of you want to take them from each township, they'll bill the fiscal officer just like they normally do. They'll have a record of who sent in for a case of oil, whatever you ordered, and it's there. You can be tracked, but for the fiscal officer's ease, and that's what we can do now. It's up to you guys whether you want to do it or not. Talking to our legislative director, I learned that the state and federal grants might be subject to review and reduction. This will affect local governments all levels in our purchases of equipment and programs. And there's a number of programs that I'm involved with that some of the grants come from Homeland Security, which comes to the state, and then which comes to the local government. Those will go away. Health department depends on grants. It's going to affect all of us. The Ohio Public Works 2.5 billion bond issue, known as Issue 2, will be on the ballot in May. Even though there are no other statewide issues, Secretary of State Rose confirms that it will appear as Issue 2. The general election bond is capped at $250 million each year for the next 10 years. So that's why when you put in for money for issue, what we call Issue 2, that sometimes it's about 4 or 5 years before you make the list of getting funded for your project. And that's why there's a cap. Everybody wants it. Everybody's used it. The general obligation bond is capped at $250 million each year for 10 years. The State Capital Improvement Program administrates it. At this point, there's no opposition expected. Townships have used this to repave roads. Kenton has used it to approve their funds for the city improvements. Villages use it for water treatment plants. So it's used all over Ohio, and You know, some of us apply for it, some of us don't, but, it's there. That's all right. Anybody got questions? Great.
Thanks, Daryl. We greatly appreciate your time and effort. Daryl's kind of the wheel behind this big cog of township here in the county. He's one of the few that really stays up on the legislative side of things, and if you ever have any questions, he's a go-to guy. But as he said, he and I are in a position, it's time for somebody else to take over leadership, and this fall is when that'll happen. So, you know, I'll nominate somebody if they want. And this is something for you guys to consider between now and this fall, for, you know, some leadership for this organization. So we will, if there's no other questions, we will go on to Marty. We'll turn it over to you, and she's going to explain to us what kind of issues the health board has been dealing with and ideas for the future.
Yes, I am the new president of the Hardin Health District Health Board. Dion is with me. She is the health commissioner and the fiscal officer, and Dr. Aaron Fritz is our resident physician member who is and a member of the fiscal committee. So I just wanted to kind of be here to inform you guys. I think we were here, Daryl Kissling and I were here in August of last year to bring everybody up to speed and make everybody aware of the struggles we're facing. So the Kenton Hardin Health District is not a department of the county. I know a lot of people are confused by that, but we are not. We are an independent board and an independent entity. And this district was formed by a fusion of the two boards in 1970 to reduce duplication of services and to improve access for a lot of folks to services that are available to the county, both for the county and the city of Kenton. And all of our areas, you know, all of the towns that we serve in Hardin County. So I just wanted you to know that. We do serve the entire county, which is over 30,000. It was 30,323 people as of the 2023 census. So that's kind of a big group of people. And there have been a lot of challenges that we have faced. The financial issues we have faced have been interesting, and you guys are probably facing the same things that we are as far as the public health emergency that was known as COVID-19. The monies that were provided by the federal government helped us to be able to continue to provide services during that time. However, those have gone away. And with more people and agencies that are vying for the same grant dollars, and so we have relied on workforce grants and many other grants that have helped with propping us up. Well, the problem has been now that everybody is competing for the same grants, we're kind of in the midst of the fray, basically. And you know, it's been a more competitive environment. And there's been a lot of unfunded mandates that we have faced. We have faced the onslaught, of course, of COVID-19, which continues today. I just tested 2 days ago because I have this thing that I don't know what it is, but it wasn't COVID-19, and it wasn't the flu. So it's just this random thing. And, but it's still there. And, we are continuing to fight and report it. And this ongoing business of this, there's now a tuberculosis outbreak that is not necessarily in our community, but is affecting our community because people are moving here from other areas that have been infected by this disease. And we have to do directly observed therapy on these people, which means we have to go and watch them take the pills, and anyway, and it's just been a real struggle. Of course, we have the ongoing business of the health department, which is, I'll talk a little bit about that, and the loss of staff. We have lost staff basically because we were relying on grant monies to fund their positions, and they are not secure. These jobs are not secure jobs, and people are looking for that. So I think that is something that we need to just be cognizant of. So historically, we've been able to recruit and retain staff using our OPERS and as a retirement option. And it's not a real attractive option for folks today like it was 10 years ago, because they're not looking at the same security, or they've already had 20 years in Social Security, so they're not looking for this OPERS to basically help them. In fact, it's kind of an oxymoron, but it can kind of hurt you in a lot of different ways. So people have to work longer to obtain those same benefits, and the benefits in retirements have been reduced. And now that has changed a little bit because we have had a recent recognition of financial inputs that we've been putting into Social Security is being recognized by the Ohio Public Employment Retirement System. So that is nice, but it still is not the same thing. So in 2024, we went from a staff of 13, which we were fully staffed, to a staff of 6 due to our financial situation. And like, we have people doing multiple things. Like, Dion was our financial person. She is now the health commissioner and the financial person, because the Ohio Revised Code dictates what degrees or what educational components need to be satisfied to fulfill a given position. So anyway, that's where we're at. And so we're working on hiring staff. We are not able to do the things that we were able to do 4 years ago, 3 years ago even, because we haven't been able to hire a nurse. We have no nurses. We have one person who's maybe interested in coming back. She is not an RN. I need somebody who can independently practice. So I just wanted to keep you guys appraised of what we were doing and apprised of what we were doing. And the budget is coming up, so we're tied to this budget, this current budget, till this year, I believe, 2025. And then we'll work on 2026's budget. We'll be presenting that in April, I believe. March, okay, right. March to the commissioners and the board. District Advisory Board. And so hopefully, we'll see some improvement and we'll go from there, but it's not the same place we were at. And I will own that. So it's all our fault.
Are you in a position to say, hey, we have, it sounds like there is some interest in employees coming back?
Yes.
If it can be justified, from the financial side, what kind of numbers do we need as townships to look at, because, you know, this is something we have to add into ours. If you guys need more,
Right.
okay, what, you know, we have to know this ahead of time. What kind of numbers are we looking at?
Well, and we were propped up by the commissioners at the end of last year, to basically make it through to August of this year.
We, right now, with how we're currently staffed,
Right.
we will make it through the whole year. It's just when we start rehiring, how
Right,
we
positions.
rehire in the positions.
Like, we have degraded our current accreditation person to not include accreditation. She really is the accreditation person, and she's not doing that right now. If we don't reach accreditation, we're going to lose the ability to apply for grants. So,
You don't become a health board anymore.
that's exactly right. Yeah, and if we aren't a health board, unfortunately, that would not fall to us. It would fall to someone else.
Can I speak for a second?
Sure.
Having probably been one of the newer members of the board, been on about a year and a half, but serving on the finance committee, it really befuddled me when I came on and found out that the vast majority of the funding that the health district runs on is through grants.
Yes.
It's not the case in every other health district across the state. Some are like that, but those that are also suffering the same fiscal trouble that this one is. So when you look at, and then you look at districts like Union County, which is flush with cash, but they have an incredible amount of support from the city, the townships and so forth, that this city and this township, these townships cannot afford.
And they're in a
So-
growth mode.
And they're in growth mode, and they
Right.
also have ancillary income from plumbing inspections and the housing boom that they have down there. So we can't compare ourselves to them.
Right.
But what we have done in the last year is, we've cut down to bare bones. I mean, it is a true bare bones health district, and we, as you can see, we're operating with 6 staff members. So ideally, I think in consortium with the townships, we need to come to a decision of what the health district needs to look like in the future. And understand that those grants are drying up and dried up, and they're probably not gonna be back. And so we have to look at the numbers that we know we solidly have and run a business based on that. And we've done a really good job, Dion's done a really good job, the board members have worked tirelessly on this to cut costs in order to stay under that line. We've had some cash infusion from the commissioners, which has helped keep us afloat. But we don't, like Marty said, we don't have an RN, you know, so we have to decide, I think, going forward, is that what we wanna have? Do we wanna have a bare bones health district that runs on the current fiscal amount that we have, throwing in a cost of living or whatever, and keeping our, you know, our sanitarian
Essential
and our
services, right.
food inspector and vital statistics, and that's about it. You know, and then the other option we look at is, do we contract out, which gets probably more costly than having actual, you know, true employee, because when we go to Union County or we go to, you know, Allen County or any of the adjacent counties for that matter, and ask them, can you send an RN up? Okay, sure, but it's going to cost this much per hour, plus mileage, plus, you know, a surcharge for them to make a little money on the deal.
Plus
So-
they bill.
And they bill. So, yeah, so I think we need, you know, we want your guidance and help to what you think fiscally can happen, so that we can have a better idea where our budget should be, and we can all
Right.
work together to get that done.
In March, what day is our annual meeting?
It's the second Wednesday, I think it's the
That's the second.
13th.
13th, 16th, like I couldn't.
I think it's the 13th also.
Okay.
It's the second Wednesday of March.
I think it's the 12th.
Hmm?
I think it's the 12th.
12th
The
is,
second Wednesday.
yeah. Yeah, I can figure that out.
I don't know.
You know, I guess my concern, and I can only speak for Buck Township because that is
You're right.
City Township. What was it, Daryl?
It's the 12th.
The 12th, okay. Is, you know, in all reality, the townships need to know what kind of numbers we're looking at. So these guys can go back to the other trustees, say, hey, you know, this is what we're looking at. Can we help them out, yay or nay?
Right,
Okay, and then their representative from their townships and municipalities, then in turn, come to this meeting in March for the next year's budget.
right,
So that, I guess that is where my main concern is, you know, number-wise, what kind of an increase if you guys do hire a director of nursing or, you know, there's gotta be numbers out there somewhere for us to work with.
I think we said 10.
I think we said 10. We have not asked for a raise since 2019.
And I actually, looking at the numbers and not being a numbers person, am not sure that 10% will get you to a nurse. I think 10% keeps your staff where it is and hires maybe an environmental clerk. You know, because currently our sanitarian and food inspector are also working the front desk,
We don't
answering
have a
phones and
clerk.
scheduling their own appointments for that, filling out the paperwork that's necessary, so, and right now, it's slow season for them, it's easy to do, right, but when inspection starts.
Sure.
You know, looking at the numbers from a non-fiscal mind, it looks to me like even if you went 10%, I don't think that gets you a nurse. I think what that does is get you a few more essential services. I think that the health district relied so heavily on these grants, which were fairly flush for so long, to have 3 nurses at one point in time, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Before I came, and so, you know, I think that, and then there's some money that's generated by that nursing by doing immunizations and things like that, but it doesn't come close to offsetting their salary. So I think that, you know, just to get a few of the essential services, we probably would need that 10%.
Okay, basically a 10% increase, we're still just going to maintain, basically.
Probably, yes.
And
I
be
mean-
able to add a clerk. I mean,
Right,
it'd be nice
right.
to have a clerk.
Right. So, okay. Mike, do you have anything to interject? Okay, all right,
Budget commission waits till we get the information,
okay,
so then we act and
okay,
usually have a decision by the end of April.
sure, okay.
Just out of curiosity, not knowing, does, you know, the surrounding counties, Wyandotte County is more similar to us than
Right.
anyone else. What are they doing? Are they contracting or?
They, excuse me, they're in a similar position, however, their staffing has been more solid. They haven't had the mass exodus that we have over and over and over again. So to be honest, they are better off, just because that has been our problem, is just the staffing that we have not been able to maintain because of our reliance on grants. And they have budgeted, and they have asked for an increase every year, and we have not. From their county.
Sure. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions at this point? Now's the time to ask.
Is there a reason why nothing's been updated for the annual report since 21? 22, 23, 24 are not there.
Right, no, there is not, and there is not a reason, except we don't have anybody to do that.
Because when you look at all the years before that, they're all red. And I like to see what the money's going to. When it's still in the red, there's no sense spending any more money.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Marty, Dion, we appreciate your time.
We have
We
30
need to-
copies of this, they're gone, but, so anybody that needs those to go back to your offices, if you're not there, there were duplicates.
Okay, you know, the biggest thing for us as the townships and municipalities, we need, you know, maybe a little more communication so we know where we stand.
Right.
You know, you guys know your needs. We don't. But if we have to help finance these needs, we need numbers for our budgets. So that's a huge thing on, as far as I'm concerned.
And we're at the juncture, you know, where we're looking at 3 different options. Do we continue in what we're doing, which is not much, it's just providing essential functions, you know, which are basically that big paragraph, which is campground and swimming pool inspections, nuisance inspections, septic and well, animal testing, vital statistics, communicable disease, and investigations into child fatality review board. Do we do that? Do we have the ability to provide additional services like vaccines? We don't have that. We have somebody else coming in right now, it's Logan County, I believe, isn't it? Coming in right now, who's providing that service for us. And then we look at the other option would be, you know, do we expand services? I don't know. I mean, right now, we're not looking to expand services.
Correct.
Yeah.
But, and we are not unique,
Truth.
in the fiscal situation we're in. In the process of finding this all out, I started calling around the different health districts, and Geauga County was $1 million in the hole. How that happened, who knows, right? They were absorbed by Lake County. So Lake County is 3 times the size, population-wise, of Geauga County, 3 or 4 times. And so they, the only thing they kept at Geauga County was a board and the vital statistics department, and they subcontracted everything else out to Lake County. You know, that's a last-ditch drastic effort, you know, and we're not sure if even any adjacent county would be willing to do something like that, like Lake did for Geauga. But there are other counties. Southern Ohio is you know, a mess. I mean, a lot of the health districts in Southern Ohio are a mess. And Marty touched on, there are so many, you know, you guys have these same things, so this is not unique to a health district, but there are so many unfunded mandates that the state of Ohio and the Ohio Department of Health have that they impose on the health district that cost money, but they're not giving you any money to do it, you know, and so that just keeps, I was just amazed by how many unfunded mandates there were that the health district incurs, so.
Okay.
Right. I'd just like to say, I'd like to hear like a solid plan, not just, well, if we have this, maybe we'll do this, and if we have this much, maybe we'll add this, like a plan that this is how we're gonna get ourselves out of this mess.
Well, I think the plan is 10% keeps your health department running as it is currently.
I would agree.
With a EH clerk, environmental health clerk, okay? Otherwise, to start adding a nurse or, you know, and doing an immunization clinic and having well child clinics and Help Me Grow and all that sort of thing, you're gonna have to find another
Right.
$75,000 somewhere. And you know, so you guys know you probably know the funding that comes into the health district from the townships versus the county, and was it 190 and 80?
That sounds right.
187 comes on.
That does sound
187
right.
from the town, 190, 187
Well,
from the
that
townships.
village is in township.
177.
So that's 250, so basically it's running on a $250,000 budget right now. So to keep that $250,000 budget going, I really think you have to have a 10% increase because, you know, for 5 years, there wasn't an increase.
Right.
That's just to keep what's, in my opinion, looking at fiscally what's happened to keep that going. And then if you wanna have nursing, you're looking at, you know, I think 75,000 a year by the time you figure salary benefits.
Right.
That sort of thing.
I assume you burned up your carryover.
Oh, there wasn't any, was there? Was?
With what the commissioners.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, the commissioners gave us money.
Okay.
Yes, so that will get us through this year doing this.
Okay. Go ahead,
Are you looking
Brian.
at 27? I mean, are you?
Yes,
Or we just,
absolutely,
okay.
yes. We're looking at 26 in the short term, but 27, 28.
I'm just wondering if it's gonna go to 10, then it's gonna go to 15, and
Right.
then it's gonna go to 30.
Yeah, I don't know, I mean, it just depends which arm we wanna go down. And that's a decision that the board needs to kind of make in conjunction with the, you know, the commissioners and everybody who has and the DAC. Good point.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, the question I had was you talked about Wyandotte County, I think, and how they were similar. Do you know what their budget is?
I don't.
And I guess by saying that we're similar, you base that on just the size.
Size, yeah. I mean, they're smaller, but they're better off cash-wise. So they have 22 to 23,000 people that they serve, and that's a county health district. And they serve that county, but they also, you know, they have a homegrown health commissioner, you know, who lives basically there. It's, you know, Dr. Van, I work there. I've worked there for 31 years. And she's very good, you know, but she donates her time, so.
I don't know if comparing, Wyandotte County is a good comparison, but it's not, because part of, from what I'm reading in the revised code, and Mike will know more better, is it's also, the formula goes into your poverty rate. So
Yes, it does.
if Wyandotte County does not
Does
have
not
very
have-
much poverty, they're gonna be paying more per capita than what we are.
Correct.
You're billed per capita, and I compared Goshen Township to Ada. Goshen's paying $13.66 a person, where Ada's only paying $4 and some odd cents a person, because of your poverty rate. So, all that goes into this big bowl of mush that, yeah, read that revised code, I got it up here if you wanna read it.
And it's antiquated. The financial, the construct that they use is old. I mean, it really is. It's not modern.
Has there been any discussion about consolidating with another district to share services?
Yes.
Like, do you need a campground and pool inspectors 12 months a year? So, like, if you share the services, it seems like it would be better for both communities.
Right, and the problem has been the money that we have to pay to the other community. So, yes, we have had conversations.
But you still will be paying per capita, so you'll be sending money out of county hoping you get the services back.
Minus the salary though, for hiring somebody.
Correct. We're okay, I think, with environmental health right now. With the sanitarians.
Are there any other questions? One thing I want to reiterate, and it's really important, every township has a representative that needs to be at this March meeting. And I don't know how many meetings we went that we didn't have quorums. We need a quorum. We need enough interest there so that we can make educated decisions as a county, all the townships together. This is their opportunity for us to do this, to sit down, work with the health board, but everybody's got a representative. Make sure they come to the meeting. That's very, very important. So, if there's no more questions, again, thank you very much for coming this evening.
Thank you.
Okay. Dennis, you're up.
Evans, I'm Chief Deputy here at the Sheriff's Office for about another 2 weeks, and then I'm on my way out. And Scott Holbrook, Lieutenant Holbrook will be taking my position, he's here with me tonight. Sheriff was unable to attend and sends his regards, and I've been tasked just with the opportunity for a few minutes to talk to you about the upcoming May primary and the sheriff's levy that will be on the ballot at that time. Just want to let you know that we are certainly aware that everyone is in need of financing. Case in point, just quickly. The sheriff's levy that's coming up is a levy that we've had since 2010, and we are seeing that we're coming to the place where it's time for that to be renewed. And so it will be on the May 6th ballot for renewal, and it is certainly a vital part of what we do here and being able to do what we do, provide professional law enforcement services for our county. One of the things that we want you to be aware of is that we are a professional law enforcement agency. We provide law enforcement services to the citizens of our county with service for anything from loud music complaints, traffic violations, to major crimes. As well, we also provide dispatching services, not only for our staff, but for all emergency services, fire, EMS, law enforcement throughout the county, to include villages of Ada, Forest, and the city of Kent. We also, as a sheriff's office, are the servants of the courts. We provide everything from security to the courtroom to civil process services and whatever happens to be the pleasure of the court that we can assist them with. And perhaps there'll be some other things that we'll talk about that we do over the next couple minutes, and I'll try to be fairly judicious with my time here. More specifically tonight, though, I've just been tasked with discussing with you a minute about the levy itself. This is a 1 mil, 5-year levy that is up for renewal and for the ongoing operation of the sheriff's office. The renewal is for 1 mil. It will provide, according to the auditor's estimate, about $677,000 annually, which is at a cost of about $25 per $100,000 of property valuation. It evaluates, or excuse me, it equates to about 22% of our budget. So a fairly good chunk of our budget is attached to this levy. Over the past few years, we've maintained a fairly level budget within the range of, give or take, $3.2 million. Doesn't get cheaper to run our operation, unfortunately, as most of you are aware in your line of work as well. But we have tried to operate without any major increases, and I trust that speaks to the fact that we've tried to be wise in our spending and living within our means as much as possible. The levy basically touches almost every expense category of the office. Basically, we run through the year as long as we can. We don't touch too much of the levy, and then we finish the year out with that remainder. But saying that, I should say, means basically it touches pretty much every aspect of the expenses of the office. Now, we could talk about a lot of those expenses. I won't try to bore you with all those things, but probably one of our largest expenses that assists us with, obviously, is salary. It takes money to pay people to work here to the tune of about $1.7 million annually to pay for our staff. About a year, 18 months or so ago, we ran into a situation with staffing where we had young deputies looking to better their families. They love working here, but at $17 an hour starting out, that wasn't cut. And so we were looking at, surrounding counties with much greater, salary payments or wage scales. And, when they could go elsewhere for 2, 3, sometimes 4 times the money, it was hard to be able to compete with that. And so we do not want to become sort of a training ground for folks to get them here and train them, see them move on. We want to see them stay here and grow and build into the county, and as well be able to support their families and be happy here. And so that sort of put an extra level of, okay, urgency to our entire budget circumstance. I'm happy to report again that we're able to raise that level to a point that we are not the highest paid by any means. In fact, we're sort of in the median range within the surrounding counties, not the highest paid within the county. But yet, we try to maintain good equipment, state-of-the-art sort of tools that they can work with, and those things sort of all go into helping us in that process. But obviously, as you know, those things don't come without a cost, hence budget, levy, all of those things play into helping us be able to accomplish that. Other things that the levy helps us with is training. We have an ongoing mandated training 24 hours annually, but that's not all that we have to do. We have other training that not only is what we call CPT hours, training required, that the state comes along and says this has to happen, but we also have to have training that helps us to maintain professional standards, efficiencies, firearms, driving, CPR, first aid, taser, de-escalation techniques, legal updates, it just goes on. And we have to do that, even though the state doesn't necessarily mandate it per se. We get into circumstances that says, do you have training for this? And we very well have to have that training. And so all of that takes some dollars. Sort of going back to just how we equip our staff, we bring in a new deputy today, by the time he is equipped, I'm talking about from the skin out, when he drives the whole 9 yards, it takes us about $100,000 in that neighborhood, because he's driving a car, has thousands of dollars of equipment in it. He's wearing a uniform that's fairly expensive just in itself, but the bulletproof vest, it runs about starting anywhere between $800 to $1,000, depending on the size. But anyway, those things are all a part of it. And so you look at this and you recognize that it's an expensive endeavor for us to be able to do this. Vehicles, that's another thing that the grant helps us with. We don't have all new cars. We run vehicles anywhere from 2015s up through 2023s. We have one 2024. We run them pretty well till the wheels are about ready to come off. We also supplement that with some used vehicles, just to make certain that there's some lower mileage vehicles in the fleet, and we're able to keep the holes plugged as we go along. Those are just some of the things. So we have, a lot of different things that go on here, from enforcement to things where we get into our crime task force. In fact, a good thing for how much you hear about it, just this last week, our task force was involved in a situation where they were able to confiscate, they worked with Allen County, some other things going on there, but they were able to interdict some drugs coming in, about 85 grams of fentanyl, which is a lot of fentanyl, and basically trying to stop that before it gets here for distribution, which was where it was headed. So we're able to get that stopped. They initiated the investigation and the assistance of some others in that process. And so we get some wins along the way. We have, a state-of-the-art 911 facility. We are very proud of that. They regularly pass their state audits. We've recently been allowed to participate in a pilot program for what's called Next Generation 911. You may have read about that in the paper. Just a lot of good things. This facility, a lot of the money that is comes from the grant, the levy, is directed toward upkeep of this facility. We have a great facility. We're very thankful for this, one of the nicer sheriff's offices for an agency our size in the state. And we believe that we need to provide a clean, safe, and professional environment for our staff and for folks who come into the facility. And we do our best to see that that's accomplished. By the way, for some of you who'd like to look around here, I don't know if some of you may not have ever been through this building. We'd love for you to take time to go through it. We'd be happy to show it off to you and let us know. And we'd be thrilled to let you do that. We try to stay pretty active in the community, and so we want you to be aware of what's going on. That's why we've taken the opportunity to at least talk to you a little bit about this tonight. One of the things I just want to shameless plug, but probably won't happen till the fall, but if you have an opportunity, and I think probably you all do if your schedules permit, but we really encourage you to get involved, come in and go through our Citizen Sheriff's Academy. Some of you may have done that. We just have really good results of that, and I think as elected officials, as most of you probably are, it certainly gives you a better picture of what goes on here. And sometimes you may wonder, why do they do this? Where did that come from? Who does what? We pretty much open the books wide open, and you get to see warts and all what goes on here, and we would really encourage that. I think it would be a very good thing to help you be able to help us, and we simply invite you to do that. We last year did our academy right after the fair. It worked out really well. Folks hadn't gotten into harvest season totally yet, those sort of things, and we had a lot of good response about that, and we would really like for you to be a part of that. We believe that over the years we've become an agency that other agencies look up to. We can prove that. We regularly get calls from other agencies, say, how do you do this? We'd like to come talk to you about what you're doing, and we're pretty proud of that. And obviously, we also are doing everything that we can within our ability and means to make and keep Hardin County a good place to raise your family and feel safe. And honestly, you know, I don't know what the statistic is, but it's out there. I just haven't checked it lately, but the bottom line is, the statistic is this: most people in their lives will never have an official encounter with law enforcement. But when they do, they hope that somebody picks up the phone on the other end and shows up. And we're glad that we can be the people that show up. And we vitally need the support, which we have always enjoyed, and we trust continue to enjoy from our Hardin County citizens, and we trust that you all in your circumstances and your positions can encourage others to support this levy. Let me just say to you that one of the things that we want you to be aware of is that the language in the levy will say something to the effect that it is for the support of criminal justice services. We're hopeful the language in this particular cycle will also indicate that it's specifically for the sheriff's operating budget. Regardless, if you see criminal justice services, it's the sheriff's levy, all right? So please understand that, and I trust vote accordingly, because you want to support the sheriff's office and support this levy. So with that being said, we have just a little video that we want to just close out with, and then we'll be around after a while. I won't take time right now. There's something burning in your minds to ask, but we'll be around if you want to talk to us after we're done. So this takes just a couple minutes, Randy, and then we'll be
Hardin County, Ohio, a rural county, comfortably seated in northwest Ohio. Hardin County Sheriff's Office was established in 1833 and continues to serve the community today.
What is a community? To those of us at the Hardin County Sheriff's Office, it's our neighbors, coworkers, friends, family, and visitors. You, the people, are what make Hardin County amazing. The success of our sheriff's office isn't possible without community support and community involvement. Community is the foundation of our success, whether that be enjoying cups of coffee at Coffee with the Sheriff, participating in festivities with us at Adopt a Dog Day, or just stopping by to say hello to us at our local county fair. We are honored to be a part of all community parades, especially the annual Lions Club Christmas Parade. Our dedicated staff and their families' willingness to donate their time make events like these possible. Our annual Shop with a Coffee event touches many families throughout the county each year. Our school resource officers serve our county schools daily throughout the school year, but it doesn't stop there. They are also our chaperones, coaches, mentors to all the young men and women of Hardin County.
Hello, I am your sheriff, Keith Everhart. My staff and I are privileged to serve the people of Hardin County. We love seeing you in good times and strive to make the bad times a little easier for you. Everything that we do is for you, but we can do nothing without your support. May God bless you, your family, this county, the state of Ohio, and our great nation.
Thank you, Dennis, I appreciate it, and I would like to personally take the opportunity on behalf of this group of people to thank you for all your years of service, not only as a deputy but the chaplain for this office, and you've done great, and good luck in the future.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, keep moving here. Next one we have BKP. Again, another organization in the county we are so fortunate to have. This evening we have 3 members. Alan Barrett being not only a township trustee, but he is also the president of the board and has shown great leadership down there for everybody. And we have Shelley Prater and Chad. I'll turn it over to you. And
I follow Dennis, but I don't have anything fancy like he did, so I'll keep it short and sweet so we can get out of here after that. As many of you know, we have a renewal levy on next year. Excuse me. It's just to maintain what we currently do. Help maintain the maintenance of the building, the truck, wages. It was $70 per $100,000 a year. This year, it will be, it drops down to 50, so it'll be $20 less than what it has been. You've been paying us no new money. It's been on the books for, I'm gonna say 15 years-ish. It will generate about $600,000. The rest of it ends up coming from billing, which Shelley also takes care of. And then some more of the crews and some more of our trustees right here. Well, Earl's an ex-trustee, but Shelley's a good trustee. But we do about 1,900 runs a year. Everybody knows that we do a lot of mutual aid calls for people. I don't know how to get away from that. If anybody's got an idea, you're more than welcome to give me an idea. Any questions?
thank you. We appreciate your time. They do a great job down there. Unfortunately, more and more mutual aid runs for the facility out of Kenton going, basically almost the whole county when necessary. There's still a lot of volunteerism. Some places It's just not, they just can't take care of all the calls. BKP has been very good as far as getting crew in a squad and sending them that direction when it's necessary. So, we are very fortunate to have them. Okay, we're getting through this. Tim, you have any comments this evening?
I guess a couple thoughts, back to the health department a little bit. When they came asking for, money from the county commissioners, county as a whole, we did provide them with, funding from the end of last year to carry into this year. We looked at two major questions, I think, in deciding, and guys, you can help me out here, but if I get it wrong, but our first question was, do we want a health department office in Hardin County? And all three of us at that time, Roger was on then, definitely said yes. So that was one of the thoughts of providing some funding. And we looked at, and we're not gonna get into why it didn't happen, but for 5 years, there wasn't an ask for more. So this is basically the 6th year, next year. If you just looked at 5% ask each year for that many years, it would have been 5% ask each year on top of 5%, on top of 5%. So if you compound it, it's more than 30% they're behind in funding at the moment. So when they're asking for 10, that's probably the bare minimum they should be asking for to keep a health department here. So just throwing those thoughts out. So as you think about numbers and what, I know you all have your own budgets, and we thought it was important enough to help support them, to get them to another year, that it needs to stay in Hardin County in office, because we all know if you get your office moved to Allen County or wherever, they're usually gonna get service first, and then they'll cover us when they need to. So just a couple thoughts. So I'll pass it over to the other commissioners if they have any thoughts.
Well, we'll let Tim discuss that particular subject. I'll discuss another one. Maybe Joe can discuss the final one. But anyway, some of the things that's been going on at the courthouse for us over the past couple of months here has been the fact, and a lot of you have seen us in the courthouse coming through with resolutions regarding the restriction of large 50 and over megawatt facilities of solar and wind. And you have gotten with your constituents within your townships and discussed this, and you have brought forward to the commissioners resolutions that would basically restrict that type of future activity within your townships. Currently, right now, we have received resolutions as of today. It is a total number of 8 townships that have come forward with resolutions for this activity. We have heard 3 of them through our pending and decided accordingly in our pending meeting, which was held on January 16th. And those 3 townships that we decided on was Cessna and Dudley and Lynn townships. And we decided separately on each resolution, and each resolution was decided in favor of what the township wanted. So now we proceed forward with the other 5. The next 2 will be Taylor Creek and Jackson, and that will probably be about the first week in March when we have our pending meeting to discuss and decide on those resolutions. The last 3 were brought forth just here last week, and then this week was Hale and Pleasant and Blanchard townships. And we'll probably be looking at coming up with a decision making our decision on their resolutions later on in the month of March. But it kind of keeps you updated as what the thought process is with that. And again, this is driven by you, the townships. It's what you are wanting to do within your townships based on the feelings of your constituents. We appreciate that, we take that in consideration, and as we've always said, we'll move forward with it. So that's basically what we've done with that.
Joe?
Sorry to follow the thread. I mean, I have nothing, so, we've been busy. We do appreciate the townships, it's come up, that's what we're here for. As a past trustee, townships don't come up to the commissioner's office for anything, so I understand this, so.
Okay, thank you. Mike? Nothing to add? Okay. Luke?
Yeah, I had a couple things. I was gonna talk about the OPWC, what's gonna be issue 2 on this ballot, and the importance of that, which Daryl covered that, so thanks, Daryl. But a couple things to take away from that. Of course, that relies on bonds to fund that, so it's no increase in taxes. So, like you said, there's no opposition. I think the CEAO, which is the County Engineers Association in Ohio, is gonna kind of be the lead on that. But it looks like it ought to pass again. And so as usual, kind of following up with that, requests for estimates, requests for projects for that program is typically in August, September, and those are sent out by Dahl's office. So look for those, and you can fill out an application for those, and I'll put the estimate together. We mailed out requests for estimates for work for this year, and all the townships should have gotten those by now. So start working on those. I'm planning on having that sit-down meeting with all the townships on April the 9th. That's a Wednesday. We typically try to do those during the day. If for whatever reason a township can't get to our office during the day, let me know and we'll work with you. Per the Ohio Revised Code, I'm supposed to meet with all the townships once a year. We used to do a fish fry. We don't do that anymore, so I kind of use this meeting as that, to fulfill that requirement.
Okay.
Sounds great. Yep, okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
Holly, what's new at the chamber?
I'm just here to be a fly on the wall tonight. I wanted to come and be in attendance. I am Holly Underwood, Director of Economic Development for the county, and we're always keeping our ear to the ground. We do have enterprise zone meetings coming up for Buck Township and Kenton. Jackson Township and Forest don't have any active agreements, and Ada stands alone. Liberty's not part of that. So those will be coming up, and that's a great way that we incentivize new development in the county. So nothing new tonight, but just let me, wanted to introduce myself and make sure you all knew that I was here, and if you ever have any questions, let me know.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Anything else?
I'd like to say one thing right now.
You bet, Alan.
I think, we need support on both of these levies for the people that, what they do for this county. The EMS, the sheriff's department, all that. I don't think people have any idea what these people do. The job, the time, the hours and stuff they put in. And I think these two levies definitely need support. And I think in our case, it's just like, they said about, wages. We're the same way. We have more runs than anybody within, I don't know how many counties here. And we're still $4 or $5 an hour lower than anybody else. But again, for the job that these people do, for the wages they do, and I know we have trouble keeping people here too. We try to train them and everything. But we're not gonna let people die in this county just because we have to go someplace else. But sometimes we're really stressed on people to go, because there's been times where we've had two squads in the northern part of the county, and we had nobody here to cover our area that we're supposed to cover. And to me, I was there one time one day, and that got to me. I mean, that's ridiculous. And, for what we do and not getting the coverage that we're having to have in this county. Something has to be done with EMS. There's no question about that. And again, I thank everybody that, has any part, trustees or whatever, for what they do, but, I think we need to get together with the commissioners and get something done with this. I know I've filled the commissioner's ear full, over the but, again, for, you know, for what we're doing and trying to do in this county. Cause, you know, we even go out of the county once in a while, we've been to Lay Route twice, you know, to cover. So again, you know, we need their support to pass these levies.
Okay. And again, I just wanna thank everybody, what a great job you do throughout the county, whether it's sheriff, health board, BKP. We're very blessed in our county, you know, that we can do the things we do. We just wanna get better at it. So, okay, anything else? Anyone? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.